All right, good morning, sir. Can I get your full name, please?
Devon Neer.
Middle name, Richard?
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you, Mr. Neer. This is the time set for initial appearance. I'm seeing you on some new felony charges, sir. Aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, aggravated assault, serious physical injury, discharging a firearm and city limits. Sir, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you, and even attorney seated next to you for purpose of today. I'll be setting some release conditions for you, sir. I have reviewed the pretrial services report, as well as the probable cause statement. The state's written recommendation is a $500,000 bond. I also need to consider whether, Mr. Neer, if you are to be incarcerated, if you stay here or at the juvenile detention facility. Mr. Poston, would you like to be heard further?
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant is alleged to have shot an individual in the back during what looks like a drug deal gone wrong. One moment. Let me pull up the right screen here. Beg your pardon. One moment. Judge, again, we're looking at 3 counts: ag assault, deadly weapon, ag assault, serious injury, discharging a firearm in city limits. It has been alleged that the defendant was contacted. There was conversation on Snapchat over the sale of THC vapes. There was a meeting, and the suspect snatched the cash, and this was after a weapon was pulled. And during this transaction and this fight, the victim was shot. There is video surveillance. The victim suffered multiple broken ribs and a collapsed lung due to the gunshot. Thankfully, he did seem to survive. They had to do, per the IC, looks like multiple chest tubes, and the bullet has remained, because of its location, is in the victim for the time being. Post Miranda, there were certain admissions, and based on all of this, Your Honor, the state is of the opinion that this person is a incredibly high risk to the community and should be held on $1.5 million.
All right, thank you. Mr. Zarzicki.
Judge, I'm at a bit of a, disadvantage, I guess, for lack of a better term. I do not have access to his pretrial services report because he is a juvenile and it's not up for me for some reason. I will note, though, I'm guessing I can already pretty much tell what it says and what I read. He has no criminal history. So, yes, this is a violent felony. Again, without even looking at the PTS report, given the nature of the felony, I'm guessing it triggered an NBCA flag, because they almost always do. And I'm guessing, given that he's a juvenile, there's confirmed housing for him. At least housing that can be easily confirmed to get to live. Yes. He's nodding yes, indicating that is indeed the case. Yes, everything Mr. Poston just said is, I mean, this is a serious incident. I'm not going to try to think otherwise, especially when you have someone that is seriously injured due to the ribs and the bullet in general. But that being said, this is also very much a he said case as far as what went down the transaction. The part that Mr. Poston skipped over is what he said post Miranda was a completely different version of events from what the alleged victim in this case said. Now, having said that, I know when Mr. Poston responds, he's going to point out that Mr. Neer was inconsistent with that. There were obviously some issues for the police not to believe him. Be that as it may, that just highlights further that the actual way that this went down as far as who the aggressor was, what triggered the initial incident to happen is very much based off of the statements of the victim. And the victim is not walking into this case clean, because the victim was engaged in, depending on who you believe, either an illegal drug or an illegal gun transaction, one of the two. So with all that in mind, I think there is some very serious questions to the credibility of the victim. I do think, given the complete lack of any sort of history here, the low scales, the fact that he is a juvenile, the fact that he has housing, that keeping him at this point is not serving any additional purpose. So we would ask for names to pretrial services. If there is going to be a bond in this case, he's indicating pretty much any bond is going to be unaffordable for his family. So we would ask something more in the range of $10,000, 10 to 20, and then we would also ask to be heard on the detention issue.
All right, thank you. And I forgot to ask Mr. Zarsik, you're still okay with going forward, even though you don't have a copy of the pretrial services report today?
Like I said, the court can gauge how far off I was on it, but from talking
You're
to
pretty
him, just,
spot on, sir.
I-
No one,
I-
the NVCA, his mother and aunt have some housing and no juvenile criminal history.
just kind of-
Okay. All right, the court does intend on posing a bond. Mr. Zarzaki, do you want to be heard on whether he should remain in Pima County Jail or at the juvenile detention facility?
Yes, I would ask for transfer to the juvenile detention facility. A few reasons for that. One, frankly, and I don't need to besmirch any of the hardworking people standing in this room with me, I do not trust the jail's ability to keep people safe. The death record history of the jail would indicate it's not particularly a good skill set they have. And given that he's a juvenile, that is the main concern of Rule 7.7, is ensuring that he is properly housed and protected. The jail is dramatically understaffed. They are incredibly overwhelmed. I get more visitations canceled than I'm able to see my clients. Adding yet another person to their population, especially one that has to be kept under very specific restrictions under law, does not behoove them or him or his ability to go forward on representation. If this were a case where it was a sex crime, or there was, an allegation of an assassination type murder or something like that, then yes, we could make the argument that the increased facilities of the jail would be necessary, appropriate here. Juvenile is more than capable of holding somebody accused of this sort of crime, especially someone with no history like he has. There's no advantage to putting him into the adult population. As I pointed out, several key issues that will interfere both with his rights to effective representation and, quite frankly, put him at a higher risk for death or serious bodily injury for no good reason.
Thank you. Mr. Posen, does it say want to be heard on the housing situation where he should?
Yes, Your Honor. It's the state's position that this individual should be housed in the Pima County Adult Correctional Center for the following reasons. One, best interests of the juvenile being detained in the facility and the others in the juvenile facility as well. Your Honor, in this factor, the state believes that a person who has shot another person, by definition, has shown themselves to be capable of some fairly heinous things. Therefore, 14, 15-year-olds, maybe even 13-year-olds who may be in the facility are put at higher risk from a person who, for all intents and purposes, a mere 8 months from hitting the arbitrary, albeit legally necessary line, is this individual's present. This individual would put the other juveniles for nonviolent regular who are in the juvie. This individual has shown a level of danger such that his presence in juvie would be a undue risk to the other juveniles. That counsel doesn't trust the jail staff is neither here nor there. It's not a reason. I would see them. Most of the incidents in the jail seem to be from somebody overdosing, which taking drugs is not something this person is alleged to do. Now, physical and mental maturity. I don't know that there's going to be some eureka moment where a switch flips in his in the defendant's mind such that he's suddenly a mature adult, his present mental state, there's no indication presenting an imminent risk of self-harm. However, the fact is, if somebody knew enough to know that this is the guy to go to buy THC vapes, this is probably not his first crime. He's just the first one he's apparently been caught for. The nature and the circumstances of the alleged offense, this is a millimeter in either direction of the bullet, or a surgeon who wasn't nearly as good as the one that treated the victim here, and we'd be looking at a murder. There are no subsection 6 prior delinquent acts. The state has no information. 7, the ability of the facilities to meet the needs while protecting the public and the safety of their juveniles. Your Honor, juveniles are kept on their own segregated pod in the jail. They are never left in the presence of adults. And if this case goes more than 8 months, we're actually less than 8 months, he's an adult, and this ends up moot. And as far as the adult detention facilities programs, if he wants to get his GED, I'm sure they'll be happy to help him get his GED in jail. And other factors, Your Honor, this person shot somebody in the course of this person allegedly shot somebody during the course of an alleged drug deal. And as far as defense counsels having, in general, a difficult time getting hold of people in the jail, really not an issue. That's the fact that the jail is a rough place shouldn't benefit this defendant, because the lawyers don't like it when things go on lockdown. Things don't go on lockdown unless somebody does something in the jail to begin with.
That's
Your Honor, the state therefore submits that the defendant should be held in the Pima County Adult Correctional Center.
All right, thank you. All right, the court does believe a bond is appropriate in this matter, given the allegations in the probable cause statement, as well as the charged offenses, risk to the community, risk to the alleged victim, or harm to the alleged victim. Will impose a bond of $100,000. It will be cash or secured. Mr. Neer will be housed at the juvenile detention facility. He will be transported for hearings. Juvenile detention facility is ordered to transport Mr. Neer to hearings at the Superior Court, virtually for arraignments if there is one in the future, and in person for other criminal matters, unless otherwise ordered by the court. So if you do post that bond, or if you're released subsequently, you'd be released to pretrial services. You would have to keep in contact with them as frequently as they ask you to. No drugs, no alcohol, no weapons whatsoever. No contact with the alleged victim. Don't try to go find him or anything like that. Next court date serves a preliminary hearing on September 4th at 1:30 p.m. That date may or may not go forward, so please keep in contact with your attorney, the public defender. If you fail to appear for court, sir, a warrant can issue for your arrest. You understand all that, Mr. Neer?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you, sir.
Let your family know to get your amount. So the bond, 100,000 secure, so it can be 10,000. Yes. Like I said, we can file a motion to try to get your release. If you need to talk to your which I can't. Yeah, but that's not very serious. That's her phone number. They're supposed to give it to me. Phone number. They didn't even give me socks or underwear. It's your phone number. What's her name? Let's see. She's Skinner. Okay, I will see if we can pull her information from the pretrial services. Get in touch with her. Get right up there. Okay. What will I be getting to? I don't know. You'll have to talk to these 9 people that ones that handle all that. Okay. Right, I will give her a call and update her if we can get in touch with her to track her down. Like I said, feel free to ask her them and give your attorney a call this week. Okay.